Yeah, we should just start over and fuck all that.
Yeah, we should. Is that not interesting? Like conversation, six
No, it's
minutes about
not.
how to pronounce Fusilli. Okay,
Okay,
we got
starting now at the 12:42 mark.
okay, starting now.
Here we go, live on the hotline. It's Annabelle, and we're talking the Fusilli Jerry.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, good to have you back on the
I'm
hotline.
I'm glad to be back.
I love when you call into our call-in radio show. It's great.
I know it was actually really hard to get through the past couple of weeks. I guess you've been pretty busy with all of your other special guests.
Yeah,
I'm glad you cleared some space for me tonight.
I got a couple. I got more than one. I think thing in this episode where I didn't know what they were talking about for the first couple years of watching this,
Oh,
and
like
right
when we
away,
were kids?
yeah, and it's not always like an adult thing. Like here's the first one right away. Eye job. This always to me,
Yeah, I
when I
didn't
think
know.
eye job, I thought that was getting like LASIK surgery so you don't
Yes,
need glasses, but
so you
this is
could
all
see
about
better.
yeah, that's not what this is. It's all about like how she looks younger because of it. So it's more
Like
of
an eye
a
lift. Yeah, like or a
yeah.
brow lift or whatever people do.
Or I didn't
Um,
know what like lasering out her like bags under her eyes or something or crow's feet or something. Like I
actually, I don't know. I
I
think
don't
I
know either.
probably now in 2023 there's like eye job could mean like 30 different things. But yeah, that was same when I was a kid and honestly probably until I don't know, like embarrassingly, like probably just a few years ago, I was like, "Oh, eye job means like brow lift or uh I don't know, not like cataract surgery."
I think if you use the term nowadays, people will think you mean like something with cataracts or some kind of thing to just help your vision, like so you don't
Yeah.
need to wear glasses or whatever. But they don't talk about it like that in the episode. So
Yeah, like, and how stupid am I? Like, I didn't get it with the context clues about, how she looks younger and how, Kramer made a pass at her. And I'm still thinking, for 35 years that it's about like seeing more clearly.
okay, so you're
But
on the same you have the same
we're
problem that
both
I have, and
idiots in that regard, yes.
and I have a couple more later on in the episode, so we'll get to them.
Yeah, but speaking of like not getting this episode is so full of sexual innuendo and like obviously, but
Yeah.
watching it
Oh
as a
yeah.
kid, like I'm like, okay, well, however old I was, 14, 15, something, what sex is, you're doing whatever with your boyfriend, your girlfriend, but like all of these like the swirl, the pinch, the a
Yeah.
knuckle, like all of I'm like,
The swirl, the
what?
pinch, the knuckle, the holy trinity.
I'm like, oh my God, I'm never having sex. Like, what does all this mean? Yeah. Holy Trinity.
Yeah. It's the trifecta of great maneuvers.
Yeah, right. Um, oh, but I do love how in the very beginning, I think it's before we see George and Estelle, Jerry and Elaine are walking down the road and he's like, I just can't see you with a mechanic. And then she goes off on her thing like, oh yeah, like what a
Yeah.
turn off, Um, it's yeah, I just think that's interesting because I don't know, I think it's kind of assumed like most women are into that type of blue collar
Elaine's into
worker.
anything. Elaine tries has an attempt at every type of man. She's not like this is
Yeah,
her
she doesn't have
type.
a type, huh?
Yeah,
And I was
she'll try
watching
anything.
her with the maestro like a couple nights ago, and I'm like, just doesn't make sense. And her with the whiz, and then I'm like, yeah, she really has no type at all.
They'll just put
Yeah,
her with anybody just for the sake of like a funny story. So
yeah, yeah, they have her date like every type of guy.
because it's the only woman on the show, so she has to.
Yeah. So Jerry has this like incredible sex maneuver that he never shared with George, his best friend ever. I
Yeah,
mean, for the show's sake.
I mean it's
George is
possible.
like, yeah. I don't know guy talk. I don't know how men talk to each other really, but
I don't know if I would. I don't know if I would. It's tricky. I don't know if I would. If somebody said I need better
Tips.
ideas on techniques or something. I don't know how I would respond to that. Honestly, it's never really happened. So like, it's not like something. Yeah, it's not like an obvious thing everybody talks. I'm sure some people do, and I'm sure some people don't. So
Yeah, same.
it's probably
But I've never had
50-50.
conversations with like girlfriends that are like, "Hey, can I get a tip on this?" Or "What do you do? Like, how can
Yeah.
I do this better?" Like, that's never come up.
Good. I don't not really that. I don't have any great examples. So
Yeah.
or for them on the show, you mean?
Well, just like George says, I would be happy with a belch. You know what he's talking about. I'm getting nothing. Like I'm
Oh,
working, I'm rubbing two sticks together. Yeah, yeah.
he says that. I
She's
didn't
giving
catch
me
that.
nothing. Yeah, he's like, she's giving me nothing. I would be happy with a belch at this point.
Oh, geez, that's rough.
Yeah, it is rough. Poor George. The tap, yeah, he's always going through it.
So this is I wrote this whole thing down because this makes me laugh so hard. Kramer when he goes, "Have you ever met a proctologist?" And then he goes, I know it's so funny. He goes, "See, this blew me away watching it in repeat because I might have glossed over all this when I was younger." He goes, "See, no one wants to admit to them that they stuck something up there. Never. It's always an accident. Every proctologist story ends the same way."
Million to one shot, doc.
Yeah. Oh my god. And it's
It's
funny
the
how
way
that.
he.
Oh,
Go
I was
ahead.
just gonna say it's great, like foreshadowing for what does happen at the end.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's how he delivers that line. It's I'm glad you brought that up because just watching it tonight, I like paused it. I was laughing so hard. He goes, "Have you ever met a proctologist?"
I cut some of the. I didn't even write everything down because he talks about like if you see one at a party, you better sit right next to them and don't
Yeah, you
leave.
plant yourself
You'll hear the best stories ever.
there. Oh my God, yeah. So yeah, I guess like again, as kids, we were probably like, "What? Like stuck something up there?" Hmm.
That all just went like over my head, I guess, at the time. I didn't know what
And
they were.
that, I mean, yeah, but that's like just a testament to what a fantastic show it is. Like even when you don't get the jokes and all the references, it's still hilarious, you know.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Ah, um. Then there's the aliens poking at my body scene, and I wrote down we get a good look at George's baseball bet. I'm gonna call this. We get multiple good looks at
Yes.
it.
Yeah, his baseball sheets, which I don't, is that a team or are they just generic baseball sheets?
I
The
paused it, and at one
comforter.
point you could see it says Kansas City Royals right on them, which is maybe the beds has like all the logos because it doesn't
Oh
make sense for
yeah.
him to buy the Royals, like that's not his team clearly. When Kramer goes to pick up Estelle from the doctor's and he parks in the doctor's only parking spot, remember, and the policeman says, "Hey, can I help you?" I just want to
Yeah.
point out the audience laughter at this part when the cop like says, "Oh, okay, my mistake."
Okay, yes.
It's not just funny, like, but the audience reaction on the like the in-house audience is like killing, like laughing so hard.
They collectively lose it for that scene. That is such a good still frame too of that guy. Like, oh, my mistake.
Yeah, he goes, "Can I help you?" And then yeah, you get like a after Kramer says proctologism points, and he goes, "Oh, my mistake." Then you see Kramer walking like extra confident, like he's
Yes.
so slick. Yeah, and I
Oh my
rewound it. I'm
gosh.
like, man, the audience bit on that is like extra hard on that little
Mm.
tiny scene.
Yeah, yeah. After like I guess we talked a couple times ago about how you notice when there's like like a single person laughing louder than everybody else, how you
Yeah.
love that and I love that. But now it's like it's all I hear, right? Like with any show I watch. I don't really watch anything with a laugh track except Seinfeld, but yeah, just hearing those people like stand out laughing is so great.
Okay, the part that I never understood is well, eventually understood. He gets the note on his car that says, "Call me 362446. I think I have what you're looking for."
Yes.
I always thought that this was the doctor who saw his car and stuck the thing on when he says, "I think I have what you're looking for." I thought he meant he has his license plate.
Oh. Oh yeah, okay.
And I
Okay, I
thought
could see how
I
that's where
thought those
your
numbers on the
innocent little brain would
screen,
go.
yeah, I
Yeah.
thought the numbers were like a fake way to put his phone number down because they don't put like real numbers on shows because somebody at home will try to call it or whatever. So like
Oh yeah.
they always
Yeah.
like remember when Jerry's like, giving out his phone number one episode, he says like K598 or something like that. He throws a K in there or something.
I just thought with the KL stuff, I just thought that was how New Yorkers gave out their phone numbers. We've never used letters in Florida, at least since I've been alive. I
I
just
don't
thought that was a New York thing, the KL 5.
I don't know either. I always like in TV shows they always say like when someone has to read the number out loud, they always go, "My number is 555," because they don't want people to actually like call the number. So I thought that's what that 3624 for. I didn't get what that meant.
46.
Yeah.
I got what that meant, and I don't I I don't know if the Sir Mix-a-Lot song was out already at this point,
That it was
or
definitely out by now.
okay, because this is season 6, so we're talking about like 95.
Yeah, and that Sir Mix-a-Lot was
Yeah.
like 90 or 91. So
Yeah, so I I definitely knew with that, like that 36, 24, 36, haha. And like I guess in a lot of like hip hop songs or whatever I was listening to, they were like always referencing like women's measurements. So I got that one.
okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't get that that's what that number was. Like that's a measurement. I thought that was just
Well,
like I
oh
said, like
yeah,
his
and I
phone
guess
number
like
or something.
because and being a woman also like
Oh, there you go.
if you have to like get your dress altered or whatever, like bras, like you need it, you knew your measurements, right? So,
Yeah, but to me, yeah, but
yeah.
doesn't that make sense? On other than the number doesn't make sense as it's not like a full number. But if somebody slipped a note like "I think I have what you're looking for," it's like, oh, this is the other guy with the license plate, and he wants to switch back. He's like
No.
he got the wrong license plate too.
It's
Um,
that Pog leaving her number.
oh God. Um, all right. The next thing I wrote down, if you want to go in, I don't have too many more notes actually. I wrote most of them in the first half, but when again with Kramer with Estelle in the car, and then he gets all the "Hey ass man" shouts at him,
Yeah.
and Estelle's I rewound this. Estelle's like, "Oh, did he just say ass man?" Like
She
her
like but like
reaction.
pats her hair. She's
Yeah,
like, "Oh my goodness." Yeah,
yeah.
she's like looking fine as hell with her eye job.
And she even says like, "I didn't know it would do that much, like make that big of a difference." And Kramer does say like, "You look 20 years younger." So
Yeah.
he's being friendly,
Yeah.
or he's being a sweetheart.
Yeah. Well, Elaine like getting so distressed over like she's distressed that Jerry told Putty to move, right? And then he's like, oh well, like I'm not having that, you can
Yeah.
do it out of town but not here. And
This
then
is a I was gonna say, let me just this is all Elaine's fault because if Elaine never mentioned David is doing the move, Jerry would never find out, and then Jerry would never have told David to not do the move.
yeah, and like so when I first was watching it, I was like, why would she say anything? Because it's gonna like stop Putty from doing the move. And then I realized, oh, she didn't want him to stop doing the move. She was just upset because she thought Jerry was talking specifically about her. And
Yeah.
he was like,
At
no, no,
first, she
no, I
gets
wasn't talking
angry at
about you.
him. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like she was like, don't talk about our sex life to like other people, But yeah, he's like, no, 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 it's just men men talking about sex moves.
I wrote this down too. You know how garages are; they're very conducive to sex talk.
Yes.
And Elaine says something like "what with all the lube jobs and stuff," or
Yeah,
something
with the
like that.
pistons and lube jobs,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Conducive to sex talk. Um,
Yeah,
oh
but
yeah.
Elaine is the one who brings it up to Jerry, and then he's like, "Well, I'm gonna go tell him to stop." And then Elaine immediately backtracks and is like, "Well, I don't want him to stop doing the move."
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
like she created the issue.
she's like oh my god. So oh yeah, so this is the only time I think the only time we actually like hear Elaine do like sex sounds. Not
Yeah,
counting like I want to slide my tongue around you or whatever. But
when she's saying "Oh, David" or whatever before
yeah,
he does
yeah.
well
Like
while he's
you
doing the move or
never really
whatever.
hear her say that or moan or do anything. I don't think. I think it's just this episode. But
I guess so. Everyone save that clip.
Yeah, right. Oh, but I like Jerry's like, find out how much it would cost to get an estimate. She's like, how am I supposed to get an estimate on your car? But then she does. I'm actually watching the scene right now. She's like, yeah, like a terrible gasket. And they're like making out and rolling over on top of each other.
It's pretty funny. It's like it's very sitcom-y that it's like this is where she would do it,
Yeah.
of course, but it's funny. Like
Yeah. She's like, oh, I'm just trying to take an interest in your job, like
it's not even worth just discussing the beats to happen, but like Frank walks into Jerry's apartment, and goes, "Where's Kramer?" And then he reenacts his move, which is just a great
yeah.
visual. Him like
Oh yeah.
pantomiming the stop short.
Oh, yeah. Like his grunting that he always
Yeah,
does.
and then they get into the tussle, and we all know what happens there, and
Oh
very
no, boy.
iconic. But something I didn't remember is when they're in the waiting room, Jerry goes, "You had to use corkscrew pasta,"
Yeah. Oh my god.
as if it was some other kind of pasta, it would come out nice and easily.
Yeah, but that's the corkscrew pasta. I'm like, God, what a visual too. Like,
Yeah,
oh no. Um so like
that's all my
the
notes.
well the move,
Go on. What you?
is
Yeah,
like like Jerry's move being so complicated that George tries it, can't do it. And then Jerry's like, I told you you need to write this stuff down. And
yeah,
so he writes it on his hand. And she catches it.
yeah. That's
And
good
he's
stuff.
like, oh, it's so good. He's like, it's not the SAT.
Oh, I love that line. I didn't write that down, but I love what. Yeah, she gets up to leave and she's all upset, and he goes, "It's not the SATs."
Oh my God, too good.
I don't know if I.
Her
Yeah, I don't think
notes.
she seems way too. Well, who knows? But no one's really been in this situation where they saw
I
somebody
would
with
not
notes on their
continue
hand.
dating her.
Oh,
Um,
I was gonna say,
I've
is that an
I've I've
overreaction or not?
never, I don't know because I've never been in that situation, but I feel like I would honestly be like, wow, that's like, thank you for the effort.
Yeah, mate, that's one way to
Honestly,
look at it. Yeah, I don't know if
Yeah,
she.
like, oh, I appreciate you like taking notes and doing your best to
Yeah,
be here for me. Yeah, but no, I've never been with anybody who had notes,
this is such a like
at least that I
mirror.
caught.
No, there's this is such like a mirror of when he's with Lisa Eldenstein and she thinks she's faking it in the Mango, where we have a scene where they're together and she's not pleased, and then we have another scene where she is pleased, but then he blows it when he
Oh
accuses
yeah,
her of faking it, and he's
yeah,
like, you really like you didn't have to go that far with the oh George.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
don't you
yeah,
think he's like? Don't you think you're laying it on a little too thick? And then this episode we
yeah,
have, yeah, she's all not into it, and then the next scene she's loving it, but then when she sees his palm, all of a sudden, yeah, then it all comes crumbling down.
yeah. I feel like that would not be a deal breaker, but I don't know. Maybe, yeah, we're
It was a
different
different
people,
time.
right? It was a different time. She's a sitcom character,
It was
to
the
move the plot
'90s.
forward. Yeah, it was a joke. Um, oh, so Kramer being the ass man, and which something I didn't get, and I'm not even sure, is Wilt Chamberlain a basketball player? I feel like I did look that up
I
at some
googled it
point.
while I was watching it. Yeah, he is.
Oh, okay. I think I looked it up a couple years ago because I was like, what? Who is that? Um, yeah, but how he finds the proctologist in the end, and he sees the photo
Sailboat.
of the boat. Yeah, the boat named Ass Man.
Like
Oh
he has to
God.
have that boat, and then he has to have a photo of his boat in his office.
Yeah, it was you,
Uh,
silly Jerry.
does he also own like a motorcycle with the same license plate too?
Yeah, yeah, just smaller. Oh, and then Frank coming home with like his little donut to sit on, and
Yeah.
and
I
Estelle's
feel like
like,
this,
can't
yeah,
cry, I can't cry.
this ending I probably didn't see that many times because when I was watching it in syndication, they always cut like the last 30 seconds off to squeeze into the next show. You know, like they did split screen with the credits on the one side
Oh,
and the
right,
ending
right,
on
right,
the other
right.
side. So this
Yeah.
very last bit when Frank walks in and sits on his little donut and Estelle goes, "I can't cry," and George says, "Don't cry,"
Ma,
you know. Yeah, ma.
ah, your eyes.
There's a couple scenes that are at the very end that I feel like I only saw once or twice with the DVD and stuff and on Netflix.
Oh
This being
yeah.
one of them.
Yeah, Netflix shows it all.
Yeah.
Um, Another part, I mean, we kind of already mentioned the knuckle, but I remember like seeing that when I was younger, being like, "What? What? What does that mean? What is happening?" But Elaine being like saying it or whatever, and George is like, "Was there a knuckle involved?"
Oh,
And he's like, "That's my move," and she goes, "I'm not surprised."
and and there's like no way to like put the idea into practicality because it's like, what exactly is the swirl? Like, what exactly is being pinched? Like, where's
Yeah,
his
yeah,
knuckle
and so,
going?
like,
Like,
yeah,
it's
your brain goes
deliberately
a million
mysterious. Yeah.
yeah, and your brain goes a million places, of course, but